Welcome back, everybody, to another Digital Gate Studios production. Jacob is back in the house.
What is up?
I can only imagine this is going to be some kind of purple madness.
Oh, it always is. We're talking about Virus Red Purple Imperialdramon.
Ooh.
You know I love this deck.
Yep.
This deck, when it came out, was my favorite at the time. It has continued to be one of my favorite decks I've ever played, and we finally got some new support that helped cover some of the weaknesses. So without further ado, let's talk about some cards.
Let's go.
Starting us off, guess I'm sure you could guess what egg, Demi-Meramon.
I was going to say, you said new cards. That's not a new card.
Yeah. When we get a better egg,
Yeah.
probably never going to happen. I think we've talked about this card many a time, but draw one, trash one on deletion is always good. Sets up your hand and trash, which are two things you need for this deck.
For sure.
Moving on to rookies. We got our Wormmon. This is for the line. It has inheritable giving retail if you have a red Digimon in play. And on play, reveal 3, grab 1, trash 1 of the things you're looking for anyway.
Right.
So just good on play search. Then we have our Vmon, also for the line, gives +2 as an inheritable to if you have a purple Digimon. And on play, trash a free or Imperial and draw 2. Helps out of hand and trash once again. Very important.
Well, these are all out of what set? This was EX4?
This is EX3.
3. Yeah.
So these are some old cards. First thing we didn't have in EX3, and this is something they had in Japan in EX3, and this is why the deck struggled here in America, and that's going to be our Security Impmon.
Oh, okay. We got those super late.
We got them very late compared to overseas, or at least Japan. This was a top deck at the time in Japan, and they had these in the list, and we just never got them.
Yeah.
And this deck relies on having 2 rookies on board.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you lose.
Yeah.
So being able to play one from trash, add to hand, you can play it for your next turn. It's a huge piece of the deck, but unfortunately, by the time we got it, there was enough meta shifts that the deck wasn't as relevant as I would have liked. Doesn't mean I didn't play it at locals, but continuing with the trend of talking about new cards, and this is the one we just got, our new Shaydramon box topper.
I remember you were looking at that release schedule like I was looking at it for the Nightmon.
I was watching this like a hawk. I love this deck. I continued playing it no matter how bad it would get. And this card covers the biggest weakness the deck had, and that was, as I mentioned, keeping rookies on board. You need 2. So this when Digivolving plays a rookie.
Yep.
The on deletion plays a rookie. And one of the best parts about it is a free that is both red and purple.
Mm-hmm.
So DNAing, you no longer need to have your one specific red source and your one specific purple source. That was a huge struggle with the deck. I mean, if you go back and watch old profiles, we used to play Fugamon in this deck.
Oh, yeah, I remember
that 5th red source.
But that was more of a turbo option, right?
It was a turbo
cheap
option,
way to get it out.
and if you didn't find Flamedramon, because the deck struggled mostly with consistency, and this helps so much just by being 2 colors. You can just DNA 2 of these, or this and any other level 4.
Yeah.
And everything's covered. So, card is fantastic. Let us know what you guys think in the comments, but this is the biggest weakness the deck had.
But it's made for that deck, right?
It
I
is.
mean,
Yeah.
there was only so many pieces they could fit into EX3.
Yeah. And I mean, this card would have been absolutely broken at the time.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have 4 copies of the old Shaydramon. This is our purple level 4 dedicated. When Digivolve another rookie into a red free from trash or DNA.
Okay.
And its counterpart, only 2 of the Flamedramon. Like I said, the Shaydramon, the new one, can cover your red source. So this is kind of a backup to that.
Gotcha.
But we don't need 4 and 4 anymore, in my opinion. And I've played this deck a lot since we've gotten these new additions. And the 4-2 is working well for me. I'm focused more on the Shaydramon because it's purple. And just purple cards are so much easier to, recur from trash.
Gotcha.
That's really my only preference with the color. So you can do 3 and 3 if you want the flavor, but that's all personal preference. Talking about level 5s, no surprise here. We got 4 and 4, Dino B and Imperialdramon.
Yep.
You kind of have to play both of these. Honestly, the biggest struggle now with the deck, in terms of its own consistency, is when you only find Dino Bs and no Pales and vice versa.
Right.
So we're very much looking forward to that newly spoiled Dino B. It is a red-purple that can play any level 5 free. I don't remember the colors, but it makes it so you can use 2 Dino Bs, like how we were talking about the 2 Shaydramons. So that's going to be another huge piece for the deck I'm really looking forward to. But for now, when you DNA to 1, you play the other from trash. And then they have fantastic inheritables, Dino B letting you hit unsuspended Digimon and Imperialdramon for security attack.
Makes sense.
And then we got our favorite cards in the deck. We got our Imperialdramon Dragon Mode. Was only a 3 of. This was a 4 in the past. We can talk a little bit in a second about why I'm down to 3. But I found that he's kind of clogged the hand. No matter what you do, I don't know why, but you find 2 of these before you find your second level 5 sometimes.
That makes sense.
And I mean, you're too scared to ditch him. But
you don't want him that early. Yeah.
Yeah, and that and there's a lot more consistency pieces now in the format between spoiler alert trainings.
Yeah.
Then we got 3 fighter modes to go on top of them. This used to be a 4-3 split. The fighter mode's kind of really what makes the deck, preventing security effects from triggering, especially as the metas are shifting. Security's getting more and more scary. We got security rookies. We got more security Digimon. Options are getting better. There's more Tamers people are playing.
Right.
So this card arguably just keeps getting better in a lot of matchups. If people are playing security control at your locals, play this one time and see the look on their face as you check, 3-4 security and
no security effects.
Yeah, it's just trashed. Then we have 1 copy of Death X Mom. We've talked a lot about this card. We love this card. It is way too good. Let's just go ahead and restrict it to 1. That's all we ever play anyway. This kind of deck, and by this kind I mean a purple deck, you got to play Death X because it's just so free to get it back. It's purple. Then we got 2 copies of Tai. I know I just talked about how good purple is, but this card is red. This is, all the way back to BT1.
Yep.
And still one of the best red tamers, I think. Is that right?
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Depending on what you're doing. But yeah, it's universally one of the best memory setters for red, I think.
Okay, this is the only deck I've ever played with any red in it. Is that right? Except for pre-release, maybe?
You playing the Agubond?
No, I never played Agubond.
No.
It's the only deck I've played with any red,
I think
and
so.
it's not even half of it.
Yeah.
But this card is better than any of the purple ones, even with the new starter deck mat. The only, hand trash is the Vmon and the Demimera.
It's not enough to be consistent.
It's not enough for that. And the security attack with this is so good because it works even with your 5s from DNA stacks.
Yeah.
So previously, this was build up to Imperial, and if you have the Pale, that's 1 check, 2 checks with them, or I'm sorry, +1, +2, get 3 checks, no security effects.
Yeah.
And I mean, with the addition of the Shadramon helping to play the extra rookies, you can be actually a lot more aggressive early game with this. It's a little less like one big swing focused than it used to be. Then we have 2 copies of Analog Use.
I was going to ask if you were still running that.
Still running it. Fantastic card. On play is so good for getting cards in hand and trash, but I don't want to go too heavy on these because we're trying to stick rookies on board, which means Death X is a viable threat to the deck. So you don't want to make that too cheap for your opponent. Additionally, its second effect with the when one of your level 5 or higher is deleted doesn't come up that often because either you're in your fighter mode and it's going to get its checks in and live, and then you're going to, kill it on your next turn by your own effects, or you're swinging with your level 5s and you're kind of indifferent if they, survive or not. But the on play is the biggest thing, and the second effect does come up, but we just don't want to go too deep on them because, like I said, Death X. What we do want to go really deep on is Missed Memory Boost.
Oh, wow.
This card is a really easy 4 of in this deck because it gets draw 1, trash 2, not in that order. So cards in hand, cards in trash, but the delay effect to gain memory is huge.
Yep.
One of the biggest struggles, and I know you've given me a lot of crap about this over since EX3, is this deck used to be like, let me push out a rookie, I'm at 3, hard play a rookie, give you 7.
By the end of your turn.
Yeah. And it's, back then it was too much, and now you give your opponents 1, you gave them too much memory.
Yeah.
So going deep on boosts, very good choice.
I like it.
Purple memory boost doesn't whiff, but there's a lot of just dead targets between, just solid red cards.
Yeah. You don't want to pass over your Tamers either. Yeah.
And this is almost a +3, as where, boosts are just a +1, like card advantage wise, right? Because we're using our trash. It's a purple deck. But yeah, crack a boost to gain 2, and then we also have 2 copies of Wisdom Training.
I was wondering how many you were running.
I tried this at 3 and 3. I tried this at 4 and 3, but we needed room for a couple other things we'll talk about here in a second. This card's really good because this is kind of more why we focused on 1 color for our level 4s instead of doing like a 3-3.
Yeah.
Because this works for both the Shadramons, to let you get into that level 4. So if you push out your rookie even at 1, you can wisdom training into like this Shadramon for 1 if it's not a Wormmon, 0 if it is.
Yeah.
Play a second rookie, Digivolve into one of your other level 4s from hand, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, the important thing with that is it's the only color that matters is the one you're digivolving into.
Right.
So you can still target your Vmon, and as long as you're digivolving into a purple, you're good to go.
Yep. So that's kind of why we focused on one color or the other.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're playing red trainings, swap these ratios. Not sure why you would in this deck, but
yeah,
it
I don't
doesn't
think
matter.
you would. I wouldn't.
And I mean, it's always a good turn 1, even if you just grab like a mist boost. The only thing we miss with this that we really wish we could get would be the ties.
Yeah.
There's only 2. You don't need them, but those extra security checks are really good.
A comfort tamer. Yeah.
Especially, so like, one of my favorite plays, you can push out your Wormmon, Wisdom Training into Shadramon, the new one, for 0. Play out a rookie, Digivolve for 2 and DNA. So you spent 2 memory, you're into a level 5, play a second level 5. It's still your turn, and these have on deletions playing rookies. So that's when you start getting aggressive with your level 5s, which is something this deck has never been able to really do before we got these trainings and, and the memory boost.
Oh, with the analog youth too, that'd be really good. Even if you do die, you're still...
So if it dies, you gain your 2 back, and you just go into a new level 4 recombo, and you already have... You're still up a level 5 on board.
Yeah.
So that's still a threat for the next turn. But the extra aggression goes a long way. Now we have 2 copies of Fireball. Like I said, used to have more wisdom trainings. One of these was that. Fireball is fantastic for killing floodgates for cheap. And then, card draw if you're just early game, you need to get your cards set up.
Yeah.
Memory gain isn't huge in this deck, but sometimes the 2 extra memory from a single mist boost can go a long way. If you have 2 or 3 of these stacked up, Fireball is worth it, so you can use them all, or you can do it to set up the next turn. Security effect's never dead. It'll either kill a body to prevent another check, or you get to draw cards. Draw cards is very good. And of course, wouldn't be a purple deck without our One of Calling from Darkness.
Calling, I love it.
Picks up your Imperial, so you're ready to go second time. Picks up Death X, so you can play that a second time if it's checked out of security. And it's a good way to kill your fighter modes, so you can get a little more memory off your analog youths, recombo, reswing.
And the ruling on that is you only have to delete something if you have something on board, right?
So if you have no Digimon in play, this is just a free grab 2.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people don't know that. It's been a rule since the card's been out, and it's huge. I mean, I feel like I use this more for when my board's empty, might as well use it now than I do, hey, I need these cards specifically. So, but that's our deck list. I'm having so much fun with this. I absolutely love the deck. It's better than it's ever been. It loses to itself far less than it used to because of the Shadramon and the trainings. And give it a shot. Let us know what you think. And we're looking forward to the new Dino B and BT16.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in the next one. Feel free to check out the channel for more awesome new content. We'll catch you guys next time.